One brotherhood, one ship. Stay bearded, stay feeling. One brotherhood, one ship. Stay bearded, stay feeling. It's BV. It's BV. BV. It's BV.
Yeah.
It's BV. It's BV.
BV.
It's BV.
BV.
It's BV.
It's BV and Jellified, Jimmy Beam and Bly, reaching highest where we reach, yo, as high as to the stars. Beats in the village Jeep, vibrating other cars. Whose world is this? Yo, we say the world is ours. So we grow beards, no fear, photos so clear. Take another shot, so to speak, yeah, more beer. BV worldwide, put a fist to the sky. Cheers, cheers, New Year's, dope rhyme, good vibes. My crew speaks power, Chi-Town bleeds power. Knowledge, wisdom, and truth in the final hour. Respect, loyalty, family, charity speaks power. Here the village brotherhood speaks honor. Forwards and onwards, stay villain to the end. I will never shave again because my beard is not a trend. I represent excellence, leadership, and never follow. I'm a BBC member, yo, lieutenant of Chicago.
One brotherhood, one ship. Stay bearded, stay feeling. One brotherhood, one ship. Stay bearded, stay feeling. It's BV. It's BV. BV. It's BV. It's BV. It's BV. It's BV. It's BV. Yo, all I see.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to episode 92 here on a, dare I say, a Thursday night. We are here on a Thursday night. Thank you for joining us, me, us, all of us that are here. Welcome to the Heart of a Villain, the podcast and live stream devoted to the bearded villains, worldwide brotherhood, and the lives they are changing all over this world. Guys, episode 92, we are on the countdown, single digits. I love it. Coming home to episode 100. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm not sure what's going on here with the camera. For those of you who are not watching in live, you don't notice it, but for some reason, camera's a little wonky today. We're a little off balance, and I'm not sure why that is, but I'll have to try and straighten that out. Anyway, hey, thanks so much for those of you who are here live. Everybody else that's going to catch this on the regular podcast platform won't be wigged out by this at all because they're just going to catch it under their normal time frame. So, but everybody else that's a normal Friday night viewer, happy Thursday night. Surprise, surprise. Something's coming up tomorrow night. So I just wanted to go ahead and kick this thing off, get it done tonight so we can have some fun here, hang out, maybe catch a few new people that aren't normally here on a Thursday night, push them over to come over and visit with us on Friday night normally. But yeah, so normally those of you, if you are a first timer here, hanging out with us, remember, we are normally here on YouTube every Friday night, 7 p.m. Central Time. So get there, like, subscribe on this channel. That's on this hand right here, so that you get all the updates and bells, notifications, and all that stuff. So you can come hang out with us. So anyway, we are doing it a little bit different tonight, a little bit different schedule. So, guys, this is going to be a fun one. Tonight, episode 92. This weekend, there's a couple different things going on, and we've talked about it. We've talked about it before. There's a couple different chapters doing some things this weekend. And I know that we have the Emerald Coast has their 4-year anniversary coming up next weekend. Inland Empire has something coming up next weekend. But this weekend, the Tennessee and Smoky Mountain chapters are doing a volleyball tournament. The First Coast Villains are celebrating their 4-year anniversary. And our guest tonight from New York Upstate, the co-captain, those boys are going to be celebrating their 1-year anniversary. Happy 1 year, with 1 year and counting, this celebration that they've been planning for some time. So I wanted to get him on the horn as an interview guest to talk a little bit about all the cool stuff that they've got planned with this. And some of it was a neat surprise to me, even to learn the charity aspects, the avenues that they're taking with some of this stuff. So I hope you're as surprised, but also as inspired as I was to hear some of the things that these guys are doing. So that's really cool stuff. All right, guys, those of you who are here, thank you so much live. I always, as you know, give a shout out to everybody that is hanging out with us live, especially tonight of all nights, because it was a surprise. Up until about 6 hours ago, nobody really even knew that this was happening until I posted it. So, Chris, thanks for being here. Bear, good to see you. Good to see you. Nick, Unicorn Nick, as he says, is here. The One Feather Wayne is here as well. Nick, Rev Nick, how you doing, buddy? Thanks for being here. Rob, I know I surprised Rob over there in the UK on a Thursday night. I knew that. Well, I don't know what he's going to do tomorrow night, but maybe replay this thing and pretend that it's a Friday night. I don't know. We'll see. Mr. Johnson, New York Upstate, is in the house. How you doing? Irishman, how you doing? Good to see you here. Mr. McLean. Kevin, how you doing? Fire all right? Yeah. Youngster, how you doing, buddy? Eric, thanks for being here. Wayne, I know you're here. How many times you going to tell us? How many times you going to tell us? Irishman tells us that this song always hypes me up, man. It does. It does. Yeah, that's the one brotherhood, one ship. It just has that feel to it, man. Feel to it, yeah. Kevin says, absolutely, facts. Does. Wayne's popping the popcorn. He says, Doug, how you doing? Thanks for being here. Gator's in the house as well. Hopefully he's able to hang out with us for a while. Papa, of course, good to see you here as well. I know many of you guys were over on Instagram when I went live there first, just to give everybody a heads up and remind people what we're doing on this night. So, yeah. All right. So we got a bunch of upstate guys. We got some guys from New York here. I love it. Good to see you guys here. Okay. So as I normally do, I don't know. I never get a whole lot of good feedback either way on the format change for last week when I did the calendar of events early. So I'm just going to format that right back to the end for this episode. Because I had a really good interview I just want to get into pretty quick here. Really fun interview with Joe. But I do want to talk, of course, about a few different things. As I normally do, I talk about some of the merch things that some of the chapters are doing. Now, these are still active. I believe a couple of these have been out for a few weeks. And as far as I know, they are still active. But if they're not, I apologize. Don't shoot the messenger. I believe that the LA Originals patch that they're selling to benefit the Tyler Skaggs Foundation is still available at laoriginals.bigcartel.com for $10. Red, white, and blue California patch. Very cool stuff. I do believe that is still available. The Bearded Villains Moscow, they have a package. This was a really cool package, and I hope it's still available for some people that didn't know about this, because it's not too often you get a whole package deal, especially from overseas. So pretty cool stuff. They've got a package that includes a shirt, a snapback, and a patch for $60 plus only $10 shipping. Most of you guys are like me, you know that it can cost 10 or $15 just to get a patch shipped from some countries. So for you to be able to get a t-shirt, a snapback, and a patch for $10 shipping, I don't know if you can beat that. So grab that if you can. It's at paypal.me.bvmsk. Shoot them a message if you're interested in it, though. You don't want to just go directly to PayPal. Make sure that they have it in your size, whatever you're looking for. But if you're interested in just getting parts of that, the shirts are $25, the hats are $25, the patches are $10. And each individual segment of those is $5 shipping. Why not just get the pack? If they got it in your size, grab that pack. All right. Additionally, this week, the Nova chapter, our brothers out in Nova, Northern Virginia, Bearded Villains, Northern Virginia, released the note of this pre-sale. They are raising money for a brother of theirs that has a lot of financial hardships for medical issues, for sure. I'm not going to go out and talk about the whole specifics of his situation here on the podcast. I do encourage you, though, to read about it. They made a post about it on their Instagram page. So head over to the Bearded Villains Northern Virginia page, Nova, and check them out. One of their posts a few days ago talked about this Bruce's patch that they're doing. The pre-sale ends at the end of the month. It's only $10. And so if you can, get out there and grab one of these patches for our brother, Bruce, and we can help him out. Really cool idea. Also, as a reminder, we are a few weeks in now, halfway through the month. And if you haven't already gotten these, I do not believe they're sold out quite yet. If they are, I apologize for talking about them for no reason. But the puzzle that is going to be pieced together from all of the chapters participating in the autism puzzle this month, as you know, is the Steel Villains and Bearded Villains of Virginia. You can head over to beardedvillainsvirginia.bigcartel for the Virginia patch, only $9, or you can head over to steelvillains.bigcartel.com for the Bearded Villains Steel City patch. Remember, once they're gone, they're gone. So do not miss out on those for sure. Also, today I'd seen this, and at last I saw a note somewhere in chat. These were almost already sold out. So if you are wanting one of these bad boys, the First Coast Villains 4th anniversary patch, very cool, very bright, bold patch they got here. They are, I believe, $12. I'm sorry, $12 at bv904.com. I don't want you to leave the podcast or the live stream to do it, naturally. But if you have another device, you can go out and go to bv904.com, grab one of these. At last I saw, about a couple hours ago, they only had somewhere in the 50s of these left. So I don't know since then, but very cool 4th anniversary patch. Help those guys out. First Coast Villains 4th anniversary patch. Grab one of those guys. And then also, just two things as a reminder. The Phoenix Villains through July 28th are taking donations for a bunch of items. If you can help out, if you're in the area, that they're raising, they're getting items, collecting items for the Andre House. And then also the Bearded Villains Chicago, the BVC, they are also trying to do a monthly setup here. So they have high demand items, plus size clothing, shampoo, soaps, razors, all that stuff. So hit up a Bearded Villains Chicago member for further information on that. That should take care of that stuff. I am now seeing a note. I do apologize. Rob, bearer of bad news. They are sold out. I'm assuming he means the 904 patches, the First Coast, the bright green, awesome patches, the 4th anniversary patches I just talked about. Okay, so they're gone. All right. Didn't have time to double check that right before I went on the air, so I do apologize for tempting you with something that you cannot have. I know that's never a good thing. But yeah, sorry about that, guys. Hey, there'll be other patches down the road you can grab from other chapters, right? and we'll talk about one of them in just a little bit. But yeah. All right. So we talked about that good stuff, right? We talked about what these chapters are doing out there. I want to knock. Let's see here. Check my, okay. I am going to turn it over right now to my interview. Now, as I said before, I wanted to interview this gentleman, Mr. Joe, the co-captain, Slap Happy, as most people know him, or a unicorn squad man. I wanted to interview him because, as co-captain of and organizer of this event, he's been running his butt off, trying to get ready for their 1-year anniversary. They had some things change in the last couple of weeks as far as plans. They pivoted, made things work out. Sounds like they're going to have an amazing weekend, doing some really cool things to raise money in a couple different directions, especially over the next couple months. They've got things going. So we're going to learn about that. Also, try not to lose interest. I'll give you a forewarning right now. There's a part of the conversation where we kind of steered into non-BV topics and just started talking about hockey, as he's a child of hockey and I grew up playing hockey as well, and started talking about a bunch of stuff with our experiences in childhood and hockey and different things. So don't run away for that, because after that part of the conversation comes, we come back to talking about some of the really cool BV things that they're doing. So stay with us, please. And I just want to share, here's my interview with Joe. My guest this week comes from New York Upstate. He is all right, stand by one. I have to do a quick transfer here. For some reason, my sound is, see what happens live, guys? And you don't check the live sound. We got to double check how things go here. We're going to come out that and out of that. All right. So those of you who are a first timer here, I do apologize for the unprofessionalism of that. Let's try this again. Hey, here's my interview with Joe. My guest this week comes from New York Upstate. He is the co-captain, and they are just about to celebrate officially, with the weekend's events coming up, their 1-year existence as a chapter. Please help me welcome Joe. You know him as Slap Happy. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, what's going on, man? I'm good. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing great. I'm excited for you guys because I know what it takes now, having been in those shoes, what it takes to get a new chapter off the ground. And now you're celebrating the 1 year. We've got ours later in the year, but I'm excited, for the success, because so many things, it seems like when they start up that first year, and you guys, I mean, let's be honest, for the most part of 1 year was in the COVID year, and you're just barreling on strong, man. What's it been like?
It's kind of been a crazy ride. I mean, with COVID, I think we got one official event in before like everything went into like full lockdown, which would have been like our first chapter event last August. And then we got the chance to do one charity event in November. We did a polar plunge for the Special Olympics, but that was, everybody had to be masked up, everybody had to stay certain distances apart and all that fun stuff. So that kind of took a lot of the fun out of it. So yeah, the COVID kind of put a hard damper on starting the chapter and getting to actually like travel, invite other chapters up, and actually hold stuff in the upstate area, which is, nobody up here knows anything about the Bearded Villain. So anytime we reach out to do anything or talk to a group to hold an event someplace, or a bar, to tell them, hey, we're gonna have like 10 guys coming in, do you have room for us, whatever, nobody has any idea what we're talking about with the Bearded Villain. So it's been an interesting ride, but it's been good too. I mean, there's been a lot of ups and downs and a lot of stress, but it's starting to come together. We're making progress. Now that things are opening up, like we're actually getting a chance to travel and get out there and meet some guys that, don't really know anybody from upstate. So that part's been really, really cool. And we're really excited to see what the future brings and how much more we can do with upstate because we've got a pretty large territory in the upstate New York area that has no idea what we do or what we're capable of. So it's kind of cool to show people what a bunch of random guys with beards can do when they all put their mind to it and bring in guys from other parts of the country and all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, that reminds me, if you can think for our listeners here a little bit, kind of put in perspective, because New York's one of those states that unless you live there, it's kind of deceiving in its size. So
Yeah.
can you put in perspective for everybody, New York upstate, whereabouts are we talking, like what you guys have as far as your territory? That, because I know a lot of states don't have specifically clear lines of delineation, obviously, but you kind of have an agreed upon idea. So whereabouts are we talking? I know Puma once told me, but I if you can remind us all.
I think for the most part, it's basically north of the city,
Okay.
the Hudson Valley area, and then north to like Canada, Vermont, and then when you go west and hit like Buffalo, Canada, over that direction. Um, I mean, the easy way to put it, like, everybody talks about New York, they automatically think New York City and don't really take into account how big the upstate area is. So from where I live in Western New York, anybody who's a NASCAR fan would know like the Watkins Glen International Racetrack.
There you go.
So I live like 20 minutes from the Watkins Glen Racetrack, which is like 5.5, almost 6 hours from New York City.
Wow.
But then if I were to go north to where Blue lives, our captain, that would be like 5 hours north from where I am. And I'm like 2 hours from the Buffalo, Canada border. So we're spread all over the place.
Wow. Oh my God. So you guys, I mean, when you talking about the distance that you guys are traveling, it's almost like how spread out some of the Texas guys are. It sounds like. I mean,
Yeah.
that's a. I
I
mean,
mean, we've got guys from Jersey that are coming up for the party this weekend, and they're like 5.5, 6 hour drive to where the party is. Even for me, it's 2 hours, and then for Blue to come down to where the party is like 4 hours for him.
yeah,
So
that's
we're scattered, man.
that's one of those weird. It's one of those weird things about the state that you're in because like I always compare everything to Indiana, and it's
Sure.
basically a big rectangle with a little bit of a chop off on the bottom of it, and if you live central in Indiana, you can basically get anywhere in the state in 2.5 hours, no matter which way you're going. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter. You can basically get anywhere. And that means that even where we're at here in the northern part of the state, I can get anywhere in the state in 4 hours, 5 hours basically to get top to bottom. But it's such a weird thing to think that you're that far away from New York City, but you're still that far away from your captain still.
Yeah.
What's that like for you guys to have to try and, because that's a different thing. A good example, the reason why this podcast tonight, the podcast this week's going to be a day early is because a bunch of us just in our chapter decided, hey, let's just get together Friday night to hang out for a little bit. But that's not something that's super easy for you guys to do.
No. I mean, there's a couple guys that are close to me. My cousin Sam lives like 20 minutes away, but other than that, I think the next closest member is about an hour and 45-minute drive to where I am, up near like the Rochester, Syracuse area, kind of in between the two of those. Yeah, there's not a whole lot. Like if we're gonna get together and we're gonna hang out, it's usually planned a couple weeks in advance. Usually somebody's got to take like a day off of work to travel. We're crashing at each other's houses. Um, you know, a couple of us don't really mind the driving, so like I'll drive wherever. I'm used to it. I coach like my son's travel hockey team, so we're all over like 3 different states all the time. So driving doesn't really bother me in the wintertime.
You're a hockey
And
dad?
I'm a hockey dad. Yeah.
Ah, great
Oh
job.
yeah. My son's 15 and he's played since he was 4. And
Yeah.
I've coached him since he was 6. It's a
Yeah.
it's a crazy expensive life.
Oh my gosh. Yes. Yes. We'll get
And
on
we
that.
do like the league he's in, we do tournaments in Pennsylvania, we do Ohio, we go to Massachusetts. We've been to the Lake Placid area to play up there. Um, that's a different world playing kids out of Canada though.
Oh,
That's a whole different ballgame.
yeah. Yeah.
That's embarrassing.
What's funny is they start skating and playing hockey about the same time, but there's something about growing up in Canada playing hockey that it's yeah, it's kind
Whole
of like
different world for them boys.
yeah, it's like a junior high team playing a varsity team all the time,
Yeah.
and
Yep.
yeah, it's crazy.
It's ugly.
And you don't understand theoretically how that happens when you have like a group of all-star kids from down here that have all been playing since they were 4 or 5. Same thing from up there. I don't know if they just feed them differently or what up in Canada.
I don't know, but
They start chewing on hockey sticks early in their life. I don't know what it is. But
anytime we go to like Buffalo or we'll go to like up near Lake Placid or Watertown, which is basically on the Canadian border, um, and we do like the Can-Am tournament and stuff, it's like watching your 15-year-old play like a junior AAA team that's just getting demolished.
yeah,
I don't know what they do up there, but they got a heck of a program.
yeah, and it's funny because you play those. I grew up same thing. I grew up playing hockey, and to be honest, I mean it's even stranger because I lived in Central Indiana growing up playing hockey. So, but traveling around to the other states and a few hours
Yeah.
away playing travel hockey, it was an awesome life. But it's one of those sports that people don't quite realize how expensive it is. And
Uh,
and it's not even like a once a year thing. It's not like, okay, this year we had to put out a bunch of money. Well, guess what? I just grew 6 inches and my feet grew
yeah.
two
And
sizes, and now I have to get all new equipment.
dude, it's gotten worse now. Like I bought my kid a new pair of skates last year, and of course now he's at that age where like he's got the specific players that he idolizes, and so now he wants the stuff that they use.
Mm.
So like we've never been a Bauer family. Like everything we run has either been CCM or Reebok.
CCM Reebok.
All of my stuff from when I played, even because I still play now once in a while, I'll go
Oh,
play
cool.
like adult drop in. And so now he's got to have all this special stuff. So he sends me a picture last year and he's like, here, I found the skates I want. And I'm like, all right, send me the link. Like we'll order them. Da, da, da. Yeah, they're like $740. And I'm like, the only saving grace is he's old enough now to where I probably won't ever have to replace him.
Yeah.
And the steel blades you can interchange now.
Oh,
There's a little button on the bottom of the skate you push and the metal comes out and then you
wow.
put a new one in. So if he skates on them for 10 years and he wears down the blade, you just pop a new one in. I think he carries like even on the bench he carries like 4 different sets of blades with him that have different angles and different sharpenings to them and different
Good Lord.
diameters. I don't, it all depends. He's got so many these. He researches all these little things that
How
what kind of
far
skates
things have
does
come.
Crosby wear? What kind of blade does McDavid have on his blade on his skates? And I'm like, dude, just tie the
It's
things and get out on the ice. Like
it's amazing how far stuff has come because
it's
granted,
crazy.
I you know I'm I'm a kid that grew up playing in the late 70s, early 80s when I first started, so that's tells you the time gap. But I mean,
Yeah.
I remember, and then in high school, I started working at the pro shop at our rink and selling the gear, and I just remember when certain things like first came out, when there was a thing called Took blades.
Oh yeah, they still
And
use those.
I know, and nobody could pronounce it. Everybody
Nope.
was like, "What's TUU?" And we just laughed about. And I remember there was a phase when everybody wanted the gold blades because that
Yep.
was cool. I mean, but I was always Bauer or CC. And there was never. I still remember when Reebok came into the game, and I was like, and now they're huge. But
Yeah.
when
Well,
Reebok first came in,
CCM
you're
bought
just
them.
like, what?
Yeah.
Who's
And
Reebok
then
doing?
Reebok took off because they started making like the all white skates.
Yeah.
And then that was like the popular thing when guys were wearing like the tinted visors
Hmm.
and they went out there looking like NASCAR. They're like every piece of their outfit matched perfectly, and you're like, dude,
Yeah.
this is a beer league. Like, what are you
Yeah.
doing right now?
It's
Yeah.
crazy. Oh my gosh, yeah.
Oh
I
yeah.
I just yeah, the mind boggles at the I know nobody else is getting anything out of this part of the interview right now, but I love it. It's just fun for me. I don't get a
Yeah.
chance to talk hockey with too many people, but yeah, I remember telling my dad actually not too long ago, when I started getting to the age I'm at in my late 40s and I start realizing, that a lot of the memories that are so vivid for me as a kid were at the time when my dad was my age currently that I am right now or younger. And that's kind of a screw with your mind moment when you realize that all those memories that are just sitting right there for you, you're like, and you thought your dad was old, you look back on it, now and you're like, wait a minute, he was like 3 years younger than I am right now,
Oh yeah.
and all that. So, but I remember talking to him one day and just said, I, I don't know that I maybe I thanked you back then, but the amount of effort, the amount of, um, things that you had to give up to make me, to allow me to play hockey and to allow me to give up your weekends to go, so I could do this travel tournament over here or something like that.
Yeah.
It's, you just think as a kid that's what you're doing, and you don't realize, that there's a give and take, and that the parents actually, hey, maybe your dad wanted to do something that weekend, and no, he's going to, you know.
It is
So
a super weird realization when you get to those moments.
yeah,
You're just thinking about, man, I really took some stuff for granted when I was a kid and didn't realize the complete sacrifice that my parents made to allow me to do the things that I wanted to do. That when you're a kid, you're just like, yeah, cool. Like for me, it was like racing dirt bikes when I was a kid. So another super expensive sport, a lot of travel time. And my parents made it work for a while, but you don't ever look at it like that. You just kind of look at it as like, well, hey, like my friends ride, I want to ride.
yeah,
So like I should just have, the $2,000 dirt bike or whatever it was, which was a lot of money in 1994. Like
oh yeah,
two grand for a bike was a big deal. Um, but you don't look at it like that when you're a kid until you get older and you really kind of look at what you're doing with yours and think back and you're like, man, I took a lot of stuff for granted with my parents that I just expected them to do
yeah,
that, I was lucky that they did.
yeah, oh yeah. I'm right there with you, man. I'm still $700 for skates. And
Yeah, it's crazy.
I'm sure they're more expensive, but I remember the first time when I was stocking the shelf in the pro shop, and I put a pair of skates up on the shelf, a brand new pair of skates up on display, and they were like $199, and
Yeah.
that was like, nobody's gonna buy these, and people did, and I remember that. I mean, that's one of those,
You'd be
gosh,
lucky to find a stick for $199 now.
yeah, yeah,
And
sticks now,
it's crazy because like when we were kids, they were wood, right? You had
yeah.
wood, and then
I
you were
still have
just
one
starting to,
upstairs.
yeah, and you were just starting to get into composite stuff when I played. And like the wood sticks, you could run that thing for 30 years. Odds are you were never breaking that wood stick. It
No,
was solid. Now you spend $250 on these composite sticks that flex and do all these other things, but you've got to buy two every year because they're going to break one
you
always.
gotta put a
Somebody's
new
going
end
to,
on it or something, and
yeah, somebody's going to stick a stick out to block a shot and it's going to snap right in half. And then you're like, well, there's $250 down the drain. Go get another one. It's
yeah,
absolutely ridiculous. And it just gets every year, even stupid things like shin pads now. As simple as shin pads are, they're like $185 for a pair of shin pads.
yeah. It,
He went he went one season, he wanted to try goalie. And he was
oh my
7.
gosh.
Luckily,
Tell me you found some used pads somewhere.
yeah, luckily we have a store. I don't know if you've probably heard of like Cornell University.
Oh yeah.
So Cornell University is like a half hour from our house up in Ithaca, and they've got a big hockey program in Cornell. Ithaca is real big up there because Dustin Brown from the LA Kings was
Okay.
born and bred in Ithaca. So they've got a bunch of like used sporting goods stores with hockey stuff that you can actually take in your old stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They'll buy it and you can get used stuff. So
Yeah.
luckily I found him a pair of leg pads and helmet and all that stuff. I think I ended up spending like $295, $300, something like that on a full goalie setup.
Yeah.
And he did it for like 4 games and was like, no,
Yeah.
I don't want to do this anymore. And I'm like, see, this is why I didn't go buy brand new stuff.
Yeah. Ah,
Those
gosh.
goalies are a whole different breed.
Yeah, they are.
I couldn't
They
do
just
it. I
eat.
couldn't do
They
it.
just love to eat those pucks.
Yeah, God, no,
It's
thank you.
yeah. I don't. And you know, it's funny. I've told people time and time again. We'll get off the topic of hockey here in a second. But I've told people it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're playing. It doesn't matter if you're just going out on the ice to skate for a free skate on a Friday or Saturday night at an ice rink or something. There's just something about the smell and the feel of being on the ice or being around the ice, even if you're like sitting in the bleachers around it. You know, to just be there,
Oh yeah,
smell it. It's that there's an experience, and there's just nothing like it. And
you
once it's in your
instantly
skin and in your blood, you just can't leave it.
yeah, you instantly feel like you're 12 years old again the minute you walk into an ice rink. You get that first like that little bit of cold in your nose and the smell, and you're just like, yep, I'm 12 years old again.
Yeah, you love it. You love it. Sights
I
and sounds,
I
man.
get it, man.
Yeah. All right. Well, good luck. Thanks for being a hockey dad. That's awesome.
Yeah, no, I love it.
And good luck to him. Is he still in season right now?
No, they're done for this year.
Okay.
We finish in like end of March, beginning of April, and
Okay.
then we'll start running practices at the end of August, beginning of September.
Okay. Very cool. All right. Well, um, let's get into a little bit about the anniversary, man. It's
Yeah.
like we said, it's been rough, but I know I've been talking about it since the day you guys put it out there. Just kind of been rolling off the tongue, 1 year and counting.
Yep.
I don't know. Maybe next year it's going to be 2 years and counting, 3 years. I don't know if you could do it that way, or you're going to come up with some other phrase for it. But
Who
uh,
knows?
tell us all. This weekend for anybody that's in the New York area that wants to come over or have a road trip. What is your 1 year and counting events going to be about?
So basically we have a member that 10 years ago lost a set of twins at childbirth. And him and his wife decided that they were going to put on a charity softball tournament every year to benefit a local children's hospital. Um, and it just happened to fall within like a week and a half of our official 1 year seal date. So we said, you know what? Why don't we plan our 1 year party the same weekend as a softball tournament? We'll enter a team and we'll play the softball tournament. We'll try to raise some money and do some stuff for the charity. So that was our game plan. So we decided that we were going to do that. We had another member that lived up near him that lives out in the middle of nowhere, has about 15 acres of property that has no neighbors. We could pretty much do whatever we wanted to do. Has a giant pool. So he said, why don't we hold it here? We'll do like a 2 or 3 day event, have everybody come up. Whoever wants to come up on Friday night, come up Friday night. We'll throw tents out. We can camp. Whatever we want to do, we'll go to the softball game Saturday, and then we'll come back Saturday. We'll just have a big barbecue. We built a big, like 55, 60-yard slip and slide coming down the hill out of the horse pasture. We've got a massive, massive bonfire pit that he's been cutting trees down out of his woods and dragging out there for the last couple of months, getting this thing ready. So the bonfire, you'll probably be able to see that from like Canada by the time we get done with it.
All right.
And just figured, we'd just have one big old family gathering, bring the wives, girlfriends, kids, just have a big family party. The more we got into it a little bit, the gentleman, Chris, that holds the softball game decided that, his charity makes enough money as it is for what they try to accomplish with the children's hospital. So why don't we find something else that we could move our money from this event to kind of help out? So a couple weeks ago, it came out online. Our brother in Jacksonville, whose daughter Kaylin with spina bifida,
Yeah.
was going into surgery to have her legs amputated so she could have prosthetic legs so she could walk. This has been a kind of a big thing for me and Nikki with the unicorn stuff anyway. So we were like, yeah, let's try to funnel some stuff towards them. So We had a couple 12-inch by 12-inch New York Upstate leather patches made that are hand carved. One of them is just the leather and it's stained. Says Bearded Villains Upstate New Yorker on the top, and then the main logo is actually it's our eagle with cross sitting on top of cross baseball bats for the
Okay.
softball tournament. So that one we're gonna do something with auction or something at the event to try to raise some money. And then we have another one that is the same logo, same patch, 12-inch by 12-inch round back patch, handmade leather. That's going to be 100% color, hand painted and everything by the artist. And that one we're going to do a online raffle on Instagram. Not really sure how much they're going to charge for tickets for that yet. I believe we'll have that this coming week,
Okay.
and then we'll start posting pictures of it and doing the ticket sales for that. I think probably something like, $20 per entry or $20 for 2 entries or something like that.
Okay.
And then we'll just, use the randomizer drawing websites that everybody else uses to pick a random winner and then send that out to them.
All right. So there's actually going to be, let's break this down a little bit now. So you're still, for the weekend's events, you're still doing everything you mentioned. Are you still doing the softball game as part of it?
Yeah, Saturday, I believe Saturday morning at 9 a.m. We have a team going into the softball event. It's actually not just the Bearded Villains, so it'll be like my wife, who's a queen, is gonna play. My oldest son is gonna play.
Oh, cool.
Nikki and his girlfriend's a villainette. She's gonna play. Their kids are gonna play. So we've pretty much put together our softball team out of all of our families, our kids. We try to do everything we do in upstate New York. We try to revolve that around family oriented stuff. We always want to have our kids there, our wives, girlfriends. That's a big part of who we are. And without their support, probably half the stuff we've done, we'd never would have accomplished without them behind us,
Oh, yeah.
telling us to get off the couch and go do something.
So it's wives or girlfriends, not wives and.
Yeah, I mean,
if you have a wife and if you have a girlfriend, it's not.
Yeah, I
if
mean, we're
if
not
you have
judging.
both, don't bring both.
Yeah, I would
I
pick
wouldn't recommend
one.
it. Yeah,
No,
pick the better softball player.
yeah, pick whoever can hit the dinger. Bring
There you go.
that one.
Yeah, it's for charity after all.
Yeah, it's a good time. I think the tournament, it's not even a tournament. I think it's just one game and you're done, and then it just moves on to the next team, and all the money goes to the local children's hospital with the NICU. I believe the last time what they did, I'm not sure what they're using the money for this time. The last time they bought a cuddle cot, if you're familiar with what that is.
Yeah.
So that was this charity group that he did. I think they actually brought one of the first cuddle cots ever to the upstate New York area.
Wow.
So, and they've continued it every year for the last like 9 years.
Very, very cool. All right. So the softball game, raising money, going to go out and have some fun with that. And then you move on to the rest of your day, Saturday.
Yeah, it's basically just going to be a big barbecue.
And I'm assuming that the slip and slide's nowhere near the bonfire pit.
You can assume that. However, no, they're a little bit apart from each other. It's going to be a weekend of hold my beer moments.
All right.
Get
the cameras out. I want to see.
I was trying to talk his wife into letting us build a zip line from the woods into the pool.
My gosh.
And luckily she was a no-go on that, but the slip and slide and the pool are kind of separated. The bonfire pit's over in the horse pasture.
That would have been one of those this is why women live longer than men moments. That's what that would have been.
100%.
Okay.
I'm not so sure at some point we won't, like, the four-wheeler won't get broken out and somebody on an inner tube will be like, because they're like the end of the slip and slide, like 5 feet past it is like a crick. And there's it's like a 4.5, 5 foot gap. I'm pretty sure with a four-wheeler and an inner tube, I could probably clear that gap. If it happens, I'm sure there'll be video of it.
Oh my gosh. I'm pretty sure I can make this. Isn't there a commercial out there about insurance and whether or not you're pretty sure something's accurate or something?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure
I feel like
make that. Yeah.
If we're gonna do it and I clear it, I'm gonna have to go back years back to the old Bud Light commercials and find that like the real Men of Genius
Yeah.
thing, right?
Oh yeah.
I- My
You're right.
wife will kill me, but
Yeah.
I'm all right with it.
Make a little commercial for it after the fact for sure.
Oh yeah.
All right. Well, good luck. Be safe with that. That's a little scary, but I'm sure we're going to see videos of the good, bad, and ugly from the weekend for sure.
Oh, I'm sure there will be.
All right. So there's going to be 2 chances for helping out for people that are, I mean, other people that are also coming in attendance, as far as if they want to come and they can bid on, because there's going to be an auction for a patch there, you said?
Um, I think so.
Okay.
Yes, I think that's what they're going to do with the first one is have an auction there. I think whoever's going to be there, kind of how they're going to do it, and then the second one is just going to be open to the public. We're going to put it up on the website,
Okay.
and we'll do it on IG and stuff, and then we'll actually go live when we do the drawing of the random number of who's going to win.
Very cool. All right. So that's definitely something everybody that's listening right now, make sure that you pay attention and keep your eyes out after this weekend for anything that comes out from New York Upstate, because it's going to maybe lead you in a direction that you might want to go down to bid on, to buy a raffle ticket or bid, or however they're going to do this, because this patch is definitely going to be one that's highly sought after, as it's going to be one of basically one in a situation
Yeah, it'll be
like that. So
the only one that'll be full color in existence, and the other one, he made 2 of them. One's going to be painted full color, and the other one just was stained leather.
yeah.
So it'll be basically one of one.
Awesome. I can't wait. That's gonna be incredible. There's gonna be some people fighting for that for sure.
Let's hope so.
And then there's people trying to, buy it off the person after the fact too, probably. So
Somebody will message him afterwards. I'll give you another $50 for it, whatever.
yeah. That would be a race a little bit more money for the person that does win it, if really to it and they just want to help out money. I'm just speaking out of course, because I never win these. If I spent $20 to win it, and then I had somebody, busting down my door going, dude, I really want that. Somebody from your chapter, I really want that. It's,
Yeah.
it means something to us. I'll give you $100 for it. No, you won't, but you'll give the charity $100, and here you go. And
Listen,
that'd be awesome.
odds are
I'll put it out there. Hopefully somebody.
Money that whoever won will get a phone call from myself after things all over with, and with a much higher price than what you spent on a ticket to try to get back.
Yep. Stand thing. That's awesome. Very cool. All right. So we got a couple other things to talk about though too. Not just this stuff for this amazing 1-year anniversary weekend that you've got. And I can't wait to see. I know the energy that's coming out of New York Upstate for you guys is palpable. I mean, it's exciting to see now that all the different states are starting, have opened back up, and guys are able to actually do stuff again. And it's one of those things that I can see it, I can feel it from your chapter. All the different chapters that I talk to, there's a bunch of them that you just feel, oh, this next year is gonna be a really big year for these guys, and so I know it's gonna be a great one for you guys. We can talk a little bit about you've got it just dropped today, as a matter of fact, that there's a teaser about something, a little collaboration thing you're doing. I know you want to keep some of this stuff quiet, hush hush right now, but what can you tell us a little bit about this, just to help drive a little bit of this until we find out the full details on it?
Yeah. So the Unicorn Squad, probably we started this back in like November when it all kind of took off. In December, we wanted to come up with a cool charity idea, something that doesn't get done a lot, and a lot of people don't necessarily know 100% a lot about stuff. So a lot of people do know that I'm a type 1 diabetic, on an insulin pump, and I'm on that for the rest of my life. And it's a crazy ride with that thing. But so we decided our first big charity event for the Unicorn Squad, we wanted to do something with diabetes education. So had talked to someone that I know, that's also a type 1 diabetic, that hooked me up with a group in California called the Padre Foundation. What the Padre Foundation does is they focus on education and lifestyle for newly diagnosed pediatric type 1s and their families. So not only do they help the kids kind of figure out, you know, what they can eat, how they can keep track of what they're eating, how to monitor so that they don't pass out, don't wind up in the hospital, all that kind of stuff. They also do social functions. So these kids can meet other diabetics that are wearing, the same electronics that they wear. They do social events for the parents because taking on a child with type 1 diabetes that, every night when you go to sleep, you don't know whether or not that kid's going to wake up in the morning or if you're going to wake up at 2 a.m. and your kid's going to be in a coma, is a super stressful thing. And so they do social events for the parents. They do education stuff for the parents. They've been around for quite a long time. They're 100% funded by philanthropy and donations. They get no kickbacks from insurance. They get nothing for the things that they do. So we reached out to them and, again, had to go through the whole spiel of, what the Bearded Villains are, kind of what we do. We're not hooligans, even though we kind of look the part sometimes. So after a few months and a lot of phone calls, a lot of Zoom meetings, we got their approval. So we teamed up with a couple different Bearded Villains chapters on this one and came out with a pretty cool collaboration that we think will be good. And just to try to get some extra money to these guys, help kids figure out how to live a somewhat normal life attached to electronic equipment so they can be kids and have fun and not have to worry about, passing out on the sidewalk or losing toes in their 20s or, kidney failure, all sorts of stuff, going blind, just a million different things that can happen as a type 1 diabetic from just not knowing what you're supposed to do because it's not a forefront thing that's out there.
No, I mean, if you're not, it's one of those. Obviously, it's one of those conditions that if you're not involved in it personally, if you're not affected by it in some way, shape, or form, either as one who is type 1 or a family member that is, you don't know, you don't experience it, and you don't understand. But it's amazing that there's an organization out there that does that, because I can only imagine how scary that is. Number one, as a kid, to have that experience and nobody know, for that kid not to understand, okay, this is life altering, but it's not end of life altering. There's a way to progress through this, and we're going to help you, and we're going to help you do it. And oh, by the way, there's these other kids here that are the same boat you're in.
Right.
And how cool. That's awesome. That's amazing.
I mean, it's, I was diagnosed at 28. So I had super late onset pediatric diabetes, they called it. I got nothing. I mean, I had a little bit of knowledge because I came from a fire and EMS background. So like I worked on an ambulance all my life up until a couple of years ago. So I had a little bit of knowledge on like the side effects and what can go wrong.
Right.
I had no idea how to live with it. So like the day that I got diagnosed, my doctor was basically like, oh, hey, like your blood work came back. You're a type 1 diabetic. Here's your prescription for insulin, and try not to eat a lot of carbs.
Good
and
luck.
I'm like, well, I'm like, what is carbs? Like, what am I doing here? Like, I don't really know what I'm doing. And then, of course, and good luck for the Italian kid who grew up on like pasta and bread. Like,
oh my gosh.
You
think about that.
Yeah. So then I ended up making friends with a diabetic educator a long time ago. And she helped me a lot try to figure out what the actual difference was between like eating complex carbohydrates versus eating sugar, and how, because everybody thinks, oh, you're diabetic, you can't have sugar. Well, not true.
Right.
I can have sugar. Sugar doesn't affect me as bad as like bread and pasta and complex carbohydrates.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it took me probably 6 or 7 years to actually get myself into figuring out how to be somewhat healthy and operate a normal life where I'm not freaking out all the time, because when I go to bed, I mean, I'm
Yeah.
rolling the dice when I go to bed at night if my blood sugar is gonna bottom out at 2 in the morning, and I have
Yeah.
no idea. Luckily now, they have all the electronics, and they have sensors that you can wear. Like I wear one, I don't know if you can
Yeah.
see that. So like that little thing checks my blood sugar every 5 minutes. It sends it right to my phone. If my blood sugar goes over a certain number that's unhealthy, my phone goes into an alarm. Um, if it drops below a certain number that's unhealthy, my phone goes into alarm. I can look, and see if I'm going up, if I'm going down, what's happening. My wife can log on to it from work. So if I just stop answering her in the middle
Yeah.
of the day, she can look and be like, okay, no, his blood sugars are fine. Like he's not, laying unresponsive on the floor somewhere.
Yeah.
Um, the insulin pumps have come a massive way to where like they automatically kind of adjust and do some different things. It's not 100%, and you still have to enter some numbers to get it to work right. But if if my insulin pump notices that my blood sugars are going up and I'm not self-correcting, it'll automatically start to do it on its own to try to help me out. Um, so technology has made life as a type 1 a lot easier and a lot safer, but it's the cost of it is
Oh my gosh.
astronomical. I mean,
Yeah.
the stupid insulin pump that, I don't know, like if you can see how big this is, right? It looks like
Yeah.
a pager at this
Yeah.
point. Like that's about $10,000.
Yeah.
And even
Crazy.
even after insurance, you're still talking 3 grand, and then
Yeah.
whatever after that month. It's just astronomical that they charge people so much money for something that they legitimately have to live.
Right.
So
Yeah.
we
That's
thought we would take on this charity as our
so
first
cool.
big one, and try to get, and I do know there's some other diabetics out in BV. Um, I randomly met one in DSV.
Oh,
We were
good.
walking through the lobby in Bear from northern Mississippi.
Yeah.
We're like walking through the lobby, and I saw the sensor on his arm, and I walked up and tapped him. I'm like, hey, I got one of them,
Yeah. I'm in the club.
and it weirdly that it happens a lot. Like you're walking around the grocery store and you see somebody else with a sensor on their arm or an insulin pump, and you're just like, hey, another diabetic. Like
Yeah.
you go up and talk to them, but it's kind of crazy.
Yeah. Wow, man. We don't know. I mean, we just don't know. We don't know what that's like. Those of us that aren't stricken with that, but man, it's you maintain such a positive outlook on things. That's awesome, because I know that there are some people that when they are when they are affected by that, by something like that in their lives, it becomes the woe is me all the time. And
Oh yeah.
the fact that you've maintained the positive attitude to keep on with your life in such a positive way that you're pushing to try and help other people out in so many different ways, that to me is incredibly inspiring. So awesome to hear.
Yeah, it's great. I think I went through that a little bit at first when I first got diagnosed. It was kind of like that, like a little bit of in shock, and like I don't know, like they're wrong. You know, I know because of my medical background that like I'll never not have it, but like it's not nearly as bad as they say it is. Like I can just keep doing what I'm doing, drinking soda and Red Bull, and it is what it is. Like I'll figure it out. And um after my first like 2 day stint in the hospital a couple years back, when I came out of the hospital, I'm like, all right, so like I really got to
Yeah.
get my stuff together. I got
So
to
this is
figure this
serious.
out. Yeah, I've got kids. Like
Yeah.
I can't mess with this anymore. So I started doing some research. I got involved in a couple of different groups. Started actually paying attention to what I'm doing, and yeah, it's tricky, but it's one of like, there's no point in being mad at it. There's no point at playing the whole woe is me game. Like
Yeah.
because honestly, the weird thing is you don't realize how many things affect your blood sugar
Mm.
until you're watching your blood sugar on like an everyday basis, right?
Yeah.
So like wacky sleep schedules will jack my blood sugar all up. Stress, depression, all those things will send my blood sugar through the roof. So then if my blood sugar goes high, I become a raging jerk. Like it's really weird, but like the higher my blood sugar goes for a longer extended period of time, everything aggravates me. So it's almost like a weird vicious cycle, right? You get depressed, you get that whole woe is me thing, and then that makes your blood sugar go high, and then that makes you more angry and aggravated, which then causes you to get more depressed and more like I don't really care attitude, and you're slowly killing yourself, unfortunately. And it took me a while to get out of that, but um, I am now, and I got a pretty good outlook on it, and now I just want to kind of bring it more to the forefront and help people out there kind of realize what it is, and it's not, it is a big deal, but it's fully capable of being lived with and enjoying your life and traveling and trying food and all that different kind of stuff. You just got to be smart with what you're doing and pay attention.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the way to do it, man. That's the way to look at it.
Yeah,
Absolutely. It's a hurdle that you get to deal with, and that you can actually look at it in the positive way of yes, it's affecting my life, but maybe I can help others learn how to, let it have less of an effect on their life,
yeah,
so
for
that they
sure.
can do the same thing that I'm now doing. So awesome, awesome. I love that.
Yeah.
Love that mindset. All right, so the charity patch that you're doing now, we haven't seen it yet officially.
Nope.
We're going to be seeing it what in a few days,
I,
maybe you said, maybe hopefully.
I'm hoping. Yeah, I'm hoping in a few days we dropped that teaser this morning.
Yep.
Um, and I know there's a couple other videos we got to put out this weekend to kind
Okay.
of keep it going. And I'm hoping first of the week, middle of the week, we can actually drop the final artwork for the collaboration, which the patch is super cool. It's it's a bigger patch, but there's a lot of detail in it. There's a lot of stuff. Everybody who's involved is represented on one patch. So
Oh,
there's like
awesome.
three different logos all tied in
Very
to
cool.
to one patch. And then there's also a t-shirt that'll be coming out with it too.
Oh, oh, great. So now,
Yeah.
so that we can prepare for this, is this going to be pre-order for these, or are there going to be a limited number of? I'm assuming the shirts will be pre-ordered, but are the patches pre-order
Shirts will
also?
be pre-order, and I think we're gonna do the patch pre-order as well.
Okay, great,
Just to make it simple on the print shop, we're just gonna do it pre-order on both,
good,
and or at least start it as a pre-order and then kind of see where we're going for how long the t-shirts are going to run
right.
for pre-order. If it starts to, we get an idea of how many we're going to need, we'll just order the patches and we'll buy more than what we need. But I think that's the initial plan is for right now. We're just going to set it up both as a pre-order
Cool.
and run it.
Have you guys thought about? I mean, you've obviously thought about it, I'm sure. Are you announcing yet what the cost will be for those, or is that wait and see until they release next week, hopefully?
That'll be a once they release.
Okay, all
It's
right.
not going to be an astronomical number. I mean, I'm sure that the
It's a
patch will
charity.
be somewhere in line with about the $10 to $12 range, somewhere in there for what most patches cost.
Yeah.
I think the shirts were right around 21 or 22.
Okay.
Um, I could be
It's
mistaken on the
charity. It's
shirts
charity,
though.
man. It's charity.
Yeah,
It's a
it's
good
one of
way to
those.
help out an organization that I didn't even hear about. I've never even heard of
Yeah,
it before. And it's one of those things where you're like, well, duh. There should be an organization out there that does what these guys do, and I'm very glad that
100%.
there are. But you wouldn't, I guess, without them stepping up and doing this, it doesn't sound like, maybe somebody else would have done it too. But it's nice that that's there because, like the experience you ran into in the medical community, that's not there for them to worry about. It's like once they just give you that diagnosis and say, watch the carbs and here's your prescription for insulin.
Send you on your way,
I mean,
basically.
if you have any problems, go to the ER. I mean, well, thanks a lot for that.
Pretty
Yeah.
much. That's about the gist of it. Exactly what most of them do.
Yeah. So Awesome that this organization is out there and exists.
Yeah, they're very, very cool group.
All right, and then the last thing that I want to talk to you about, we've been talking for a bit. This is awesome. I like when the flow we just talk. We're just sitting around a campfire
runs.
talking, man. You're gonna have something coming up. We can kind of tease a little bit to it, guys, that people can kind of keep an eye out for. This fall, you're going to be involved in something that was discussed a little bit in one of our earlier podcasts as a topic, anyway.
Yep.
But can you talk for just a couple minutes about this plan that you've got that's coming up this fall?
Yeah, absolutely. So little ways back, me and Nikki and the Unicorn Squad did a anti-bullying thing for a cool little dude named Ben from Canada who was being bullied for wearing pink. So we did that. That was kind of a big deal for us because a lot of people can relate to anti-bullying stuff, and it's crazy the amount of bullying that goes on nowadays. So then fast forward a couple months, we were in Mississippi for DSV, and the captain from Northern Mississippi came up and talked to us that they wanted to do a anti-bullying event in October, and it was something near and dear to him, and wanted to know if we wanted to get on board and do it with him. So we had said, yeah, sure. Like, can we bring our chapter into this? And he's like, absolutely. The idea is we're going to try to get as many chapters around the world as we can, to all kind of hold their own anti-bullying event on the same day. So Northern Mississippi is going to do a glow run on October 2nd. And I think we're going to do the same in upstate New York. We're working on trying to get one of the local schools to let us use their track.
Okay.
So it's a controlled environment, and basically do a nighttime thing, have everybody go to the dollar store, Amazon, wherever, get as many glow in the dark things as you can, and just, do donations, have some raffles, try to get some local businesses to buy on as supporters and sponsors of the event, and see if we can do an entire day of anti-bullying stuff across the country, and as many as we can get to do it. And it's really a cool idea Northern Mississippi had to try to spread this as far and wide as we possibly can. And I know we've had 3 or 4 other chapters sign on besides New York, the Unicorn Squad, Northern Mississippi, Southern Mississippi. I want to say Smoky Mountain is involved too. So I'm pretty sure
cool.
Puzzle's in there.
Yeah, so cool.
Yeah.
That's going to be really cool to see. And there's time between now and then where there's potentially other chapters that can hear about this thing. And
absolutely,
once you start pumping out a little bit of information about it, that and people hear about it either here or just in conversation with you guys and your different chapters, it could be a big thing, man. It could be even bigger thing than you ever imagined. Word of mouth.
Yeah, I know it's something I think they're hoping on doing like an annual.
Very
like
cool.
Every year, try to have an anti-bullying thing every year. Groups can pick like their own charity in their town or their state that like is an anti-bullying charity that money can go towards or whatever. I think the idea is just the more groups we get to do it all on the same day. If you could flood Instagram on a Saturday with half the amount of anti-bullying stuff as we do with side beard Saturday pictures.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's just the more people that see it, the more people kind of look at it and they kind of realize, okay, maybe it's not just an isolated thing someplace else that doesn't affect me. People don't always realize they were bullied as a kid until you kind of look at it and go, wait a minute, like, yeah, okay. It was kind of, when we were kids, it was kids being kids. We all picked on each other. We all ribbed on each other. But you kind of step back and look at it as an adult. You're like, man, I was really, I might have been a little hard on that kid at one point, Yeah.
I might have been the bully in some cases for some of these kids, or some
yeah,
else that you're,
I got bullied. I mean, I got bullied for being a heavier kid. I was a lot heavier back in the day. And, there's times I can look back and say, you know what, like I may have transferred my anger and anxiety with being the heavy kid and getting picked on and picked on some other kids for some other stuff because
Yeah.
it, deflected. And you kind of look at it now and be like, bullying isn't really an isolated thing. It's
Oh
pretty
no.
widespread and everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah. It's sadly, but we're putting an eye on it now, and you guys are going to help do that too. That's very cool.
Absolutely.
So I'm excited to see how that pans out. So we'll be keeping our eyes out for that, man. But dude, for now, let's just focus on the weekend and having a blast, man.
I'm excited. I'm ready to get there. I'm heading out like 9 a.m. tomorrow morning.
All right. 1 year and
And
counting, New York Upstate. It is their 1 year anniversary. They're having a huge, it sounds like a bonfire that can be seen for miles and miles and miles away. And hopefully
we're
a slip and slide that won't end in that. But
eh,
it'll be a good time.
yeah, I think we basically just took the idea of, parties that upstate New York country kids had in high school and just kind of ran with it for a 1 year event.
Awesome. Hey, it works.
Yeah, it'll be a good
That's what
time,
you
man.
guys know.
It'll be a
That's what
good
you guys
time.
know. All right, man. Joe, thanks so much for taking some time out with me and just hanging with me and telling me a little bit about, I mean, it was a good conversation, man, all the way around.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, man.
talk,
I enjoy it every
how can
time
we
I come on.
talk about hockey? We're talking about, I mean, everything from hockey to bullying to partying to not setting yourself on fire and jumping over creeks and, oh, good stuff, man. Good stuff.
Oh yeah.
So hopefully we didn't lose too many people on the hockey part, but they came back for the good stuff. So
Let's hope so. I think they'll be all right.
I think so too. Man, thanks so much. Have a great weekend. I wish I could be there, but unfortunately, I'm not able to make it over there. And I know I'll see
All
you
right, well,
again. I'll see you again down
no,
on the road here a bit at one of the
November.
big events. Yeah.
I
So
think we're coming to Indiana for November. Was it in November for Battle of the Beards?
yeah, Southern Indiana's Battle of the Beards is November. Yep.
Well, me and Nikki will be out there for that. So
Awesome.
if you're there for that, we'll see you there.
Sounds good, man. All right. Have a great weekend. Share the pics, get the videos going, or have somebody else do it if you aren't sober enough to do it yourself.
We'll see how the dice roll.
All right. Thanks, buddy. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, buddy. Thank you.
All right. And there we go, guys. Thanks for tuning in and staying with that one. Long interview, but I had to just keep it going. I wanted to just keep the flow going with that interview because, those are the kind of interviews that I want this podcast to have, where it's just like we're just sitting down talking at a table or around a campfire or on the couch somewhere, or you're just hanging out talking, and there just happens to be something recording your conversation. Those I think are the most genuine, and sometimes you get into topics that may not be interesting to a lot of other people, but um, it's natural that way. So I'm grateful. So thanks so much, Joe, for taking that time out, and man, I'm excited to see some pictures. I have a feeling there's going to be some very epic videos created over the course of this weekend up in upstate New York for sure. If you are looking for an all-natural beard oil that will not only tame your beard and coarse hairs, but make your beard soft and smell amazing, check out Pulpo Beard Oils. Veteran-owned and made for today's beards, Pulpo beard products combine the best beard ingredients on the market with incredible customer service to ensure your happiness. Whether you need beard wash, beard oil, beard balm, or some fun clothing, Pulpo is the place to go. Feel fresh, feel savage, feel confident with Pulpo Beard Oils. Go to Pulpo Beard Oils, that's Pulpo beardoils.com, and use the code The Heart of a Villain for a discount on your order. All right, guys. So cool, so cool. I'm going to go to the calendar of events in just a minute. But first, I did want to say, I am going to let you guys in on a little word of mouth anyway, a little surprise that'll be coming down the road in a celebration for the 100th episode of this here podcast, The Heart of a Villain. So I've been working on it, and I'm not ready to show it yet, but everybody that's been following this podcast for a while now has probably seen, and many have out there have picked up a patch for the podcast, The Heart of a Villain podcast patch. So I wanted to create one that was a little bit different, but very similar in nature to what the original patch was, yet celebrating celebrating the 100th episode. So there are going to be patches available in the coming months. It will come out prior to the 100th episode, but in celebration of the 100th episode. It will be a once they're gone sale, and there's only going to be, as just kind of made sense to me, there's only going to be 100 of them. Only going to be 100 patches for 100 episodes. Seems to make sense, right? So look forward to being able to share that stuff with you guys when the time comes, and we can celebrate together, right? we can have some fun together with that. But yeah, so that's the plan coming up down the road. All right, guys. So let's get into our calendar of events. If you stuck around this long, hey, stick around the next couple minutes, right? Stick around for a few more minutes. Why don't you? See this thing through. You've done your job. See this thing through. All right, guys. Here we are, the 15th of July. I know the calendar that's scrolling across the screen still has a couple things on there from the 10th, but disregard those. Those were last week. This week, July 16th through the 18th, Bearded Villains New York Upstate is celebrating, like we talked about, their 1 year and counting in Lyons, New York. We heard all about it, what it's going to be. It's going to be a great time. It'll be a softball game. They're going to be messing themselves up pretty fiercely with the slip and slide and the huge bonfire that will be seen from miles. You'll have a chance there, it sounds like, to be able to purchase something or at least bid on something that is a one-of-a-kind item. So get over there if you're not already planning on it. That'd be cool. Also this weekend, July 17th, the First Coast Villains celebrate their 4-year anniversary at Sneakers Sports Grill in Jacksonville, Florida. July 17th, First Coast Villains celebrating their 4-year anniversary party. And yes, unfortunately, as I was told, their patches that they released are gone. They are gone. So sad. So sad. July 17th, Bearded Villains Tennessee and Smoky Mountain chapters have their Bearded Villains charity volleyball tournament at Rusty Nail in Hermitage, Tennessee. July 17th. There's 3 things this weekend you can find your way to. So get out there and do it. And next weekend, July 24th, the Emerald Coast is celebrating their 4-year anniversary. They're having a party, get-together type of thing. If you are interested in going to it, contact a member for details. I guess they're keeping it kind of hush-hush. But hit up an Emerald Coast guy for details on that if you want to participate. And also July 24th, if you're out in California, Bearded Villains Inland Empire is hosting an annual school supply drive. Hey, kids are going to be going back to school soon. 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. at Shamel Park in Riverside, California, July 24th. Hit up the Inland Empire boys if you can donate some school supplies. July 25th, if you happen to be over in England, Bearded Villains Central England. I know that some people just happen to be over there because they live there. Bearded Villains Central England chapter has a family meet. It's their annual family meet at Kingsbury Water Park, Sutton Coldfield. That's July 25th, their Bearded Villains Central England annual family meet. Then we get into we get out of July into August. August, the big one, August 13th through the 15th. Here in the U.S., in Miami, it's the Miami International Meet in place of the World Meet, August 13th through the 15th. There's a chat out there. It's a month away, guys. What are you waiting for? If you already haven't made reservations, it's going to be amazing. Those guys down there are not going to let it go by without it being amazing. So head to Miami next month. It's a month away. Get over there or down there or up there, wherever you live, August 13th through the 15th for the Miami International Meet. Then September 10th to the 12th. September 10th to the 12th is the Four Corners Meet, hosted by the Bearded Villains in Phoenix, New Mexico, Colorado, and Utah. That's where the Four Corners are. It's in Cortez, Colorado. Remember, this one is for brothers only. no significant others, no insignificant others, no uncles, aunts. Well, uncles could be there if they're a brother, but you get the idea. Just for brothers, and that's in Cortez, Colorado, the Four Corners meet. Always well attended, looks like a great time out there. September 10th through the 12th. Then September 24th to the 26th is the East Coast meet, hosted by the Bearded Villains of West Virginia. It's in Parkersburg, West Virginia. Details will be forthcoming on this. I look forward to this. This is going to be another good one. I know the East Coast meet a couple years ago was awesome. So September 24th to 26th, the East Coast meet in Parkersburg, West Virginia. Then we get into October 8th and 9th. Bearded Villains Missouri Valley has a beard competition. It benefits Friends of Kids with Cancer. Friends of Kids with Cancer. Friday, they have a meet and greet, silent auction, 50-50 raffle. There's a beard competition on Saturday. It's going to be a good weekend. Good weekend all the way around, guys. October 8th and 9th. Hey, and it's in the central part of the states, right? So just get there. Bearded Villains Missouri Valley Beard Competition. October 15th and 16th is the Florida Summit in Pensacola Beach. We don't have any details on that one right now, so mark your calendars and play by ear. October 15th and 16th for the Florida Summit in Pensacola Beach. Then October 23rd, come on up here to Northern Indiana in Valparaiso, Indiana, where the Bearded Villains Northern Indiana chapter, that's my chapter, will be having Ezra Crow's Halloween Havoc. Halloween Havoc. It's hopefully an annual competition, but it's going to be a beard competition with a costume contest, auction, prizes, all sorts of stuff. Everything's going to be benefiting the Ronald McDonald House of both. There's two of them here in Northern Indiana, so we're going to be benefiting both locations. That's Ezra Crow's Halloween Havoc, October 23rd, in Valparaiso, Indiana. Then the next week, you get another chance to do a Halloween event all the way down in the Rocket City land. October 30th, Downtown Halloween Bash, hosted by the Rocket City Bearded Villains. They got all sorts of cool stuff planned. And yeah, just hit up those Rocket City guys for this. There's going to be a costume contest, as I understand, the beard competition. Just a good time. Good time. Downtown Halloween Bash, October 30th, Rocket City Bearded Villains. And then we get into our two events that we have so far in November. November 12th through the 14th. We mentioned it here for a very brief time. Battle of the Beards 2021. Battle of the Beards 2021. Hosted by the Bearded Villains of Southern Indiana. Man, it's going to be a blast. November 12th to the 14th. If you're there, bring extra money, buy me a drink for my birthday. That's November 13th. And then finally, November 13th, that same weekend. If you're not in Southern Indiana for Battle of the Beards, November 13th, get over to Virginia for Beards Away, hosted by the Virginia Bearded Villains. It's their 6th anniversary celebration and beard competition. It's at Bunker Brew Pub. That's going to be a blast. I know they had a really good time there. The last time they hosted the beard competition, the Beards Away place, the Beards Away event was very, very well received. So that's the Virginia Bearded Villains, Beards Away, November 13th. There's so much on the board there, guys. I feel like I need to take a drink in the middle. Sometimes it's a long line of stuff. But you know what? I'm not complaining. I love seeing our calendar of events full. For so long, we had a non-calendar of events that we were just hoping that we would populate it with things. So it's great to see. It's great to see it out there. Well, guys, we know what that means, right? You've stuck it out so long. I greatly appreciate it. Happy Thursday night. Won't be here Friday night, but thanks for being here Thursday night. If you like this night better, hit me up and let me know. I don't know if that's ever going to change, but hit me up and let me know. Guys, that's going to wrap up episode 92 of The Heart of a Villain. Remember, you can still buy shirts, patches, pins, poker chips, all that good stuff, and soon to be new 100 episode patch out there one day at theheartofavillain.simplecast.com, theheartofavillain.simplecast.com. You can also listen to all previous 91 episodes of the podcast at that location. Guys, I want to challenge you, as I always do, to be the villain that the world needs you to be, because the heart of a villain never stops beating. Finally, guys, the most important thing I say every week, remember, it's okay not to be okay. If you are hurting, please find a brother to talk to. Remember, it's okay not to be okay. So guys, have a great night. Have a great Friday night off. Go find something fun to do. Enjoy the weekend. Have a great week ahead, guys. Take care. Stay safe.
Stateside across ponds, no borders. I am my brothers, keep your facial features covered. Stay feeling
One brotherhood, one ship. Stay bearded, stay feeling.